Hey Aries, welcome to your love and romance reading for March 2022. This is going to be for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. We're going to connect and see what messages are coming up for the Aries collective for love and romance for March, or whenever you happen to see this video, right? Whenever it's time for you to hear the messages. Keep in mind, it's a general reading for the collective. Not every single message will resonate. Take what does, leave what doesn't. See what is happening for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Happy birthday, by the way, to the March Aries, the early Aries, the first of the Aries season. Happy birthday for those of you in late March. Okay, so first card coming up here is the Two of Swords. Now, the Two of Swords is going to come up in a couple of different ways. First and foremost, some of you have heard me say the Two of Swords for me in my readings is a warning. Like, hey, we're showing you the writing on the wall. Your angels and guides are like, we're showing you the writing on the wall, but you're not taking the steps we're guiding you to take. Therefore, we may have to come in with a tower situation. So, Aries, if you're in a situation where you keep waiting for something to get better, or you're like waiting for a problem to go away, or you're just waiting for something to resolve itself or work itself out, if that's your situation, Two of Swords is telling us it's not gonna happen that way. Two of Swords is telling us it's gonna escalate to some kind of a tower moment. So if you're trying to give somebody the benefit of the doubt, or you're feeling bad, or you're feeling sorry for them, and you're trying to buy time, or you're trying to procrastinate before you walk away from a situation or relationship, Spirit is saying just rip it off like a band-aid, because if you don't, there will be some kind of tower moment. There will be something that is removing this person, this situation from your life. Another way that the Two of Swords comes up is that there might be information that is being kept from you, right? If you've ever tried to learn tarot, you know that tarot cards tend to have keywords. Like, if whatever teacher you've gone to or whatever book you have looked at, typically there's going to be keywords for the different cards. And a lot of teachers or tarot references have hoodwinked as a keyword for the Two of Swords. So there could be somebody is like not telling you the full situation. They might be keeping aspects of the situation away from you. So if your spidey senses are tingling, so to speak, if something's not adding up, pay attention to that, because you're not being given the whole situation. Two of Swords also comes up when we're in an impasse. An impasse means that we don't agree with the other person. They don't agree with us. Neither one wants to budge, but neither one of us wants to give up on the relationship. And that's where the tower moment can come in, is just sitting at that impasse. Maybe one of you really wants kids and the other one absolutely doesn't want kids. It's not gonna resolve itself. They're not gonna come around, right? You're not gonna change their mind. They're not gonna change your mind. Or one of you wants to get married and one of you doesn't want to get married. Or one of you wants to go live in another state and the other one doesn't want to move. They're not gonna come around, right? In fact, the situation will escalate to a really big argument or a really big falling out, a lot of the times with the Two of Swords. The next card that's coming up here is the World. Now, having the World come up next to the Two of Swords, Aries, makes me feel like a lot of you have been doing a lot of work on yourself, and you've been leveling up. You've been improving. You've been manifesting a lot of things in your life. You're coming into this higher level of success. You're getting a lot more attention. And something about the World next to the Two of Swords is giving me the feeling or the sense that you're dealing with somebody who maybe is being a little bit jealous or insecure. And you're waiting for them to just kind of suck it up and get over it. And the Two of Swords next to the World card tells me they're not going to get over it. Like they're like in this resentment. It's bubbling, it's brewing. So you're thinking, oh, they'll get used to it. No, they're not going to get used to it. And so with this Two of Swords and the World card coming together makes me feel like you may have outgrown this connection. You may have outgrown this relationship, or you're progressing, you're working on yourself, and this other person is not. And so that puts us in a challenging situation, right? They're not doing their work. You're still waiting for them to catch up to where you were when you all got together or when you all first met. And not only have they not caught up to where you were when you all first met or when you all first got together, not only have they not caught up to that level, your level's ahead of that level. You've improved, you've grown, and they're still not even caught up to where you were when you met them. This is a difficult and challenging situation. Okay? I do feel like you also need to be cautious. Those of you, Aries, who are putting yourselves out there on the internet, in terms of work or business or collaborations or as influencers or spiritual teachers, musicians, artists, whatever it is that you're putting yourself out there online. You may be receiving a lot of fan mail or a lot of messages from followers and people who want to date you. But I feel like these cards coming in together are saying it's not going to be a good idea to date your fans or your followers. It's not going to be a good idea to find a partner among the people who are following you. Okay? Even if this is someone who is also like a fellow influencer or musician or spiritual person, right? You might see this person more as a colleague than a follower or a fan, or like a peer or an equal in some way. But I feel like something here is saying that it might not be the best idea to pick up relationships right now with people that you're meeting online if you are someone that is online for like work purposes or marketing purposes. It might not be a good idea for you in the month of March to kick off a relationship with somebody you've met online. Maybe you want to keep them as friends. Maybe you want to just keep them as partners that you collaborate with and allow yourself to spend time with the person in person. And at a future time, you can maybe see where that connection goes. But I feel like you're being cautioned that right now might not be the best time. Maybe it has something to do with the current moon cycle that's going to be happening in March, because that moon is really jumping out at me. But you're being cautioned here to like kind of really take a logical approach here in your interactions with others, and to listen to what your gut and what your intuition is telling you about the situation. The next card that's coming up here for Aries is the King of Swords. You could be dealing with an air sign person. So air sign is going to be Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. But I just kind of got chills when I saw this, because I said you're being cautioned to take a logical approach, to think with your head. And one of the main messages of the King of Swords is the King of Swords is always going to make logical decisions. I'm going to block the light here for a little bit. I apologize about the lighting, guys. I know it's not the best. I've moved and I've had lighting issues. I'll be going to my storage soon and getting my recording lamps, and so we won't have weird lighting issues in the future, but I do appreciate your patience in the meantime. The King of Swords. The King of Swords is never going to make a fear-based decision. The King of Swords is never going to make a decision out of feeling sorry for somebody or feeling guilty. The King of Swords is always going to make the logical decision, is always going to do the thing that makes sense to do, and that what's going to be in the best and highest good. And so in terms of your decisions, Aries, you may have to put aside certain temptations or certain desires to do what is going to be logical right now, what is going to be beneficial for you right now. I feel there's a sense here of turning away a temptation, or like not allowing yourself to make a decision out of feeling sorry for somebody or feeling sad for somebody. Looking at the situation logically. So if you're feeling torn about what to do about a person or about your love life in March, it might be a good idea to ask yourself, okay, if a close friend or a best friend or a relative came to me with this problem, like if my current relationship issue was somebody else's problem, what would I tell my friend? What advice would I give them? Because you're going to give your friend logical advice. You're going to give your friend what you think is going to be best for your friend. You're not going to tell your friend to sacrifice themselves or feel sorry for somebody else. And so you want to give yourself that same kind of advice, that same kind of guidance. King of Swords can also sometimes mean that you're dealing with a person who maybe is not super emotionally available. And you have to ask yourself, are you cool with that? Are you cool with somebody who's wired themselves to be super logical, right? So they're not going to be the kind of person that's going to sit there and listen to you vent. They're just going to offer you a solution and be like, okay, well, I gave you a solution. Why are you still talking about this? They might just be wired to be very factual, very direct, and you might have to ask yourself, do I want that kind of relationship? Do I want that kind of personality? You might be waiting for this person to soften up. You might be waiting for this person to like let that wall down and to be more warm and be more expressive. But the King of Swords can tell us that it's never going to happen. Not because they don't care about you, but because that's not their personality. It's not how they're wired. And you have to ask yourself, okay, are the pluses of this relationship or connection worth more to me than that emotional fire or that emotional presence? You have to make that decision for yourself. I can't tell you what you should prioritize. I can't tell you what you should sacrifice and what you should keep. But this is a decision some of you are having to make. You're having to ask yourself, okay, all right, are the pluses here making up for what I'm giving up? But some of you have been waiting for someone to become softer, warmer, more expressive. And Spirit is saying, honey, that's not how they're wired. It's not because they don't care about you or they don't trust you or they don't feel safe with you. It's just not who they are. And you have to ask yourself, can I accept this person how they are, who they are? Or is this going to drive me nuts? Is this going to be too much of a sacrifice for me? Only you can make that decision for yourself. Your next card here is the Queen of Cups, and this is the emotional self-care. So if you're dealing with a King of Swords kind of energy, somebody who's very logical, somebody who's not going to sit there and want to hear about a situation or hear you vent, maybe some of you are saying, I don't want to give up on this person. Maybe some of you are saying, I still want this relationship. Well, the Queen of Cups is telling us that emotional self-care is going to be absolutely and positively crucial for you for the success of this relationship. You're going to have to find a way to honor your feelings, to feel your feelings, to ride out those waves, to be expressive of them, to be soothing and nurturing of them. You may have to do that emotional care solo. Because the King of Swords may not have a whole lot to give you in terms of emotional intimacy. It's not that he doesn't care, he's just not wired that way, as was said and emphasized just now. Queen of Cups can also indicate a very giving, very nurturing energy. So you might be doing a lot for this person. You might be doing a lot for other people in your life, but you need to make time to fill your own cup. Now, maybe some of you are saying, I don't want the King of Swords, and I don't want to come across any other King of Swords. Well, if you take that stand and you make that stand to the universe and you say, I'm not going to settle for this, and you turn around and you do the Queen of Cups work, writing out your emotions, writing out your feelings, honoring what you're feeling, letting yourself cry, letting yourself be angry, letting yourself be inspired, and express your feelings and get them out of your system and soothe and comfort yourself. You're making a statement to the universe that your feelings, your emotions matter, and that you take them seriously. And so that will put you on path to come across people who take your feelings seriously as well. So it's shifting the energy in terms of the type of partners you're going to be attracting and the type of partners that you find yourself being attracted to. It begins to shift where now you're calling into your life people who are considerate about your feelings. But if you're not making your feelings and emotions a priority, you can't expect for anybody else to either. Okay? Your next card coming up here for Aries is the Star. So this could be Aquarius energy. Some of you could be dealing with an Aquarius. If you have an Aquarius placement, there can be big changes or shifts happening for you in those areas of your life. But the Star card is making long-term plans. It's coming out of the darkness, coming out of the chaos, a shining light, and an inspiration towards others. It's being seen. It's being celebrated. Okay? The Star card also makes me feel like there's going to be high levels of success for you in the future. You're going to be seen by a lot of people. You're going to be getting a lot of attention. You're going to be very successful. You're going to be encountering a lot of new people. So this gives me the feeling in the sense, Aries, that this might not be a good time in your life to hurry up and make like permanent decisions or permanent agreements or promises, because otherwise you're going to find yourself being met with temptation down the line as you're meeting these new people, as you're having these new interactions. You might say, oh my gosh, I feel a strong connection with this person here, or I feel like this could potentially be a significant soulmate. Meanwhile, you're already living with somebody, or you're engaged, or you're married, right? And so now here comes the temptation. So it could be a good idea for you to explore your relationships, or you could be in a committed relationship, but it might not be the best time to hurry up and make something super official or super permanent, because you're still going to be meeting new people. You're still going to be meeting new people. And out of the new people that you're meeting, there are going to be people that you're going to think to yourself, wow, I would love to have a partner like that. I would love to get to know this person better. So I feel like the message here is keep your options open, Aries. Maybe that's not what some of you want to hear. If you're a cross watcher, maybe this really upsets you. I'm sorry. Hopefully it doesn't apply to your Aries. Hopefully you and your Aries are going to be together if you're a cross watcher. But the message I feel coming up here for the Aries collective is keep your options open right now. Okay? You may want to check out your moon sign, your rising sign, your Venus sign. Sometimes that might resonate more for you than your sun sign. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you. If you go to calendly.com/amethystangelite, you can schedule a private reading with me there. There's actually a link in the description of the video that will take you to that page, and you can schedule there. Don't forget to check out the weekly forecasts and the cards of the day that I've been posting. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Have a wonderful March. Hopefully we'll see you in the dailies and the weeklies. Take care, my dears.